Welcome back, everybody, to the Metropolis Bulldogs Teambuilder Dynasty here on NCAA Football 14. Today, we've got the Season 3 preview of the Metropolis Dynasty. Before we kick off today's episode, I do have some slight changes I plan on making to the series, and I'm going to let everybody know right now. So, pretty much, recently I've come up with this really cool series idea that I want to do on NCAA 14. Once Madden 23 comes out in like 3 months or so, nobody's ever really done something like this on YouTube, so I'm really excited about it. But the problem is I don't want that series to overlap with this one. I don't want two NCAA series going on at the same time. So what I'm thinking is I want to get the Metropolis Dynasty done by the time Madden 23 rolls around, which will probably be in the middle of August. So pretty much 3 months or so. The thing is, at the current pace we've been going at, I'm probably only going to get about 2 more seasons done of this series. We've been moving at a little slower of a pace than I've been hoping for because it takes a little bit longer to get through recordings on my Xbox than the other series is on my PlayStation. So what I'm thinking is to try to speed up the pace of this series that we will end up doing less episodes per regular season. So my plan is that we're going to do 3 to 4 games per episode. Some games we're going to play the full thing. Some games we're going to do a mix of simulating and playing. It's kind of hard to explain, but you guys are going to be able to get a better gist of it in the next episode when we go through the first portion or so of season number 3. That way, we can get through 7 or 8 seasons of this series, plus the long-term sim that I'm going to do at the end, so we can get through as many seasons as I had originally been hoping for. I think this change is going to be good for the series because I feel like this series is too similar to the Westlake Dynasty that I had in the past. So I kind of want to differentiate the Metropolis Dynasty from the Westlake one. So I think having the videos formatted differently is going to end up being a good decision. So I am pretty excited about what the future of this series holds. So now let's talk about the future of this football team. We completely exceeded all expectations in year number 2, going 8-4 in the regular season, making a bowl game, and hanging tough against a really good LSU team in the Music City Bowl. Our roster has really developed well. Our young players at the beginning of the series are now the veterans, and we have a new crop of young talent who I am very excited about. So we're going to kick things off with the opening portions of the preseason, Redshirts, depth chart, custom schedules, and then we're going to lay down what recruiting is going to look like for this season. So starting at the Redshirt phase, I did have to make some tough decisions here. There were a number of good players who I ended up having to redshirt. We didn't really have this luxury back in the first couple of seasons of the series when we didn't have as many talented freshmen, but all of the true freshmen we acquired will be redshirted except for 3. One of whom is going to be our fullback because we only have one fullback on the roster, so unfortunately, Elliott Rose, 46 overall, he's going to have to not be redshirted. The other 2 will be CL Frost, wide receiver, and safety Lewis Reed because they are going to be day 1 starters. Everybody else is going to be redshirted. I think a lot of these guys are going to be great players for us in the future, but for most of them, we have veterans who are a little bit better starting, and there are some players who are really good in here like Kemi and then Benigba, who I could have played this year, but I want to be able to save the eligibility on some of these guys just so we can get an extra year. We're redshirting 1 sophomore, Cedric McNeil. He was a JUCO guy we got, and 1 junior, James Mayo. He was a JUCO walk-on we got. So those will be the redshirts for season number 3. Again, there were a lot of players, particularly the freshmen, who I think could have made a big impact for us this season, but I really want to be able to save eligibility for season 7 is when they'd be redshirt seniors, because hopefully by season 7 we'll be competing for a national championship. So this is what the depth chart is going to look like at quarterback. It's going to be a QB battle between Manuel Castillo and Jonathan Roberts. They battled for the starting job last year until Roberts broke his collarbone in like the 3rd game of the year. He's fully healthy. I'm excited to see what he can do, and it's going to be an open competition. May the best man win. Victor Adams and Donovan Barrington will return to the backfield. They'll be joined by JUCO junior Andrew Williams. We have another really good freshman in D.D. Santander. He's going to be redshirted, but he could have made an impact this year. Tico Chukwumereji will be the fullback. At wide receiver, Osiris Young will go back to wide receiver 1. Emmanuel Cortez will go back to the slot. And true freshman CL Frost will be wide receiver 2, replacing Marcus Wilkerson. Tavion Smith-Gardner will be back at tight end. He'll be backed up by freshman Aaron Garrett. We have 3 new starters on the offensive line at left tackle with Chris Adams, left guard with Blake Wright, and center with Jared Martinez. The offensive line's been the weak link throughout this series. So hopefully these new guys, along with Connor Astronfield and Garrett McCullough, can play well for us. The defensive line is going to look pretty similar for the most part to last year. Our 2 starting defensive ends will be Delvin Hines II and Jonathan Savage II, just like last year. We're also going to get some snaps from redshirt freshman Kevin Bowman. Defensive tackle will be last year's breakout star Scout Lopez, and behind him we're going to have a rotation of guys, including the ultra-athletic Greg Hutchins III, Percy Morales, Nehemiah Redshirts. All these guys are going to get snaps. I'm pretty excited about them. The linebacking core looks a little bit different. Replacing Ford Chavez at left outside linebacker will be Hasil Diamantopoulos. Michael Roberson will return to the middle, and Curtis Neal will replace Malcolm DeGray at right outside linebacker. The corners will be Brian McGrew and Figgy Yakabuti on the outside with Hassan Antonio in the slot. Terrell Cream will be the starting 3 safety. Cream played at corner last year, and he was really good, so I'm not opposed to moving him back to corner at some point, depending on how our secondary plays. If we do move Cream back to corner at some point, Carter Jackson will more than likely become the new starting 3 safety. And then true freshman Lewis Reed will try to replace Ryan Jovanovic at strong safety. Mark Mitchell and Zach Kirksey are back as our kick and punter. Donovan Barrington will be the main kick returner once again. I thought he did a pretty good job as our return man last year, so he'll take that role. Marquez Glover will do the kickoffs. I figured this is a way to get him some experience before he's our full-time kicker next year. And then Garrett McCullough will be the launch snapper. So that's the depth chart. Nothing too outlandish or surprising, I would say. Now we've got the custom schedule, and our custom schedule is a little bit weird because we don't really have a bunch of out-of-conference games at the beginning of the year. We have one non-con game against Maryland on the road, our rivals, and then we jump right into American Athletic Conference play with Tulane, SMU, Tulsa, and Memphis. After that, we got a bye week, which we're really going to need that bye week to prepare for our next matchup against senior quarterback DJ Uiagalelei and the Clemson Tigers, our second non-conference game of the year. After that, we have ECU, USF, Temple, and then a home non-conference game against number 23 Houston, led by a really good true freshman cornerback in Newton DiGiorno. He's like an 86 overall, total stud. And then at the end of the year, we've got Capital College and Navy. So now let's talk about recruiting. I've been working very hard on the subscriber-made custom recruits the past couple of days. If you would like a custom recruit next year, make sure to go join the Discord server. The link is in the description. Our school is now a 2-star prestige, so that's going to mean that it's going to be a little bit easier for us to recruit talented players, and more highly ranked players are going to be interested in coming to the school. As you can see, a number of 4-stars have initial interest in us, which wasn't really the case last season. So that's pretty exciting that more guys want to come here. The recruiting restrictions will mostly stay the same. The only difference I have is we can go after only 3 stars or lower unless they have us in their initial top 4. I would say that is fair. I think it should be a little bit easier to recruit once we are a 2-star prestige compared to being a 1-star. But other than that, all the other rules are the same. The draft and transfer stuff we'll be able to more so talk about next year once we'll be 3 seasons in. So that should be pretty exciting. So now we are here in week 1. We don't have a game week 1. I almost always schedule as a game week 1, but this year I didn't because I really wanted to play Maryland, Clemson, and Houston, and none of them were available week 1. So that's why. Let's take a look at the preseason polls. The defending champion Ohio State Buckeyes, led by quarterback C.J. Stroud, who did return for his senior season, they will start at number 1. Florida, Alabama, Georgia, and Clemson round out the top 5. No major surprises here at the top. An interesting week 1 matchup is number 6 Texas at home against number 3 Bama. That should be a bloodbath. Just kidding, Bama by 50. Other than that, we've got some sort of surprising teams in the top 25, like Georgia Tech, Boston College. There's Capital College at 24. So just like us, they have completely exceeded expectations over their first couple of seasons as a program as well. So before you know it, Urban Meyer leading the Capital College Flyers, they could become a real power in college football. Now we're getting to the range where I could see us ending up being at. We're not in the top 60. I was hoping we'd be number 69. Unfortunately, that ends up going to Cal. I thought it would have been really funny if we ended up at 69. Instead, we're going to end up as the 81st ranked team in the country, which I'm not too upset about because my favorite athlete of all time, is Calvin Johnson, and he wore number 81. So that's sort of cool. There are a number of interesting teams we're ahead of that you wouldn't really expect. I think the most surprising one was probably Penn State at 89. Football in Pennsylvania is pretty bad now, with Temple at 86, Penn State at 89, Pitt at 92. How is Temple ahead both of those teams? Wasn't Temple horrible last year when we played against them? They had like one win and almost beat us. Now we're getting to the bottom of the list, so all the really bad teams with like Kansas and Rutgers. Northwestern's at 119, dear God. The worst team in college football currently is Navy. That's not really a surprise because we've blown the doors off of them 2 years in a row. Hopefully we do that again this year. Navy always does well in this game, but so far they are not looking good. Currently, we are projected to finish third in the American East. I would say that's fair. I don't think we're as good as Capital College yet, and East Carolina's an 88. They have a really good quarterback, so I get it. I'm not going to really complain. Overall, they have us finishing 7th. They have us worse than Tulane, Memphis, UAB, and SMU. I feel like that's a little bit disrespectful. I feel like we're going to be better than at least one or two of those teams, and then there are a number of squads who end up below us. So pretty much they're projecting us to finish around the middle of college football, the middle of our conference. Here's the Heisman race. No major surprises here at the top. Kyron Williams, the running back out of Notre Dame, opens for preseason as the Heisman favorite, followed by fellow running backs Will Shipley and Tyler Algier. After that, we've got a couple SEC quarterbacks with Alabama's Bryce Young and Arkansas's KJ Jefferson. Jefferson being there is a little bit surprising because he did just lose his top wide receiver, Traylon Burks, to the NFL draft. But Arkansas, I think, is ranked in the top 15, and he is a 97, so we'll see what he can do. Preseason All-Americans. Most of the top players in real life in college football are gone. You still got guys like Bryce Young, Kyron Williams, Josh Downs, Ike Ekwonu, players like that. Somerset Driscoll from Capital College is the All-NCAA first-team tight end. That's pretty interesting. We would end up with a player on the first team. It's Terrell Cream. I don't think that's a major surprise. He was really good last year. 6 interceptions, including, 3 in the first half against Maryland? That was a fun game. So Cream makes the first team. Again, I don't know what position he's going to play this year, but he's going to be really good for us, hopefully. And then on the second team, headlined by North Carolina State quarterback Devin Leary. A number of other many talented names on this list. Unfortunately, we would not have any All-NCAA second team members. That isn't really a surprise to me because I don't really know anybody else who deserves it that much. Looking at the all-conference preseason All-American teams, we would end up with some names here. Capital College has like their whole roster on the list, which isn't really a surprise. How much money is Urban Meyer paying those guys? I don't know. But we've got Osiris Young on offense on the all-conference first team. He's going to hopefully be a major breakout player this season if his hands work. He'll be joined by Michael Roberson and Terrell Cream. So 3 young guys, all sophomores, on the all-conference first team for us. And then looking at the second team, unfortunately, nobody on the offensive side of the ball. Again, I don't really know who honestly deserves it. Maybe Garrett McCullough. Defensively, we have Delvin Hines II, along with Scout Lopez and Hassan Antonio. So we've got 3 players on the first team, 3 on the second team. Not too bad. That's 6 all-conference players. The championship contenders tab I found especially interesting for where they projected us. We're 81st this year, then 97 next year. That's pretty bad. But after that, we make a big jump to 43, and then 56 the following year. So they have us all over the place. I'm not really sure why we go from 97 to 43, but I'm not complaining. As for the toughest places to play, I did want to see where they ranked our home atmosphere, and we ended up about the range I expected at 76th. That makes sense. We are the 81st ranked team in the country, so pretty much a nearly matching ranking there. We're 6-6 all time at home, 5-7 on the road, and 0-1 at neutral site, which was our bowl game. So that's pretty much going to wrap up the episode. Next time, we're going to get through 3 or 4 games. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I do want to really move this series fast and quickly, just so we can get through 7 or 8 seasons by the time Madden 23 comes out. Let me know in particular which games you would like to see me play, because again, I'm not going to play every full game. I plan on mixing in some simming in there. We're definitely going to play the full game for at least half of them, but I'm not entirely sure which ones yet. So let me know which teams in particular you would like to see down below. Other than that, I hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let me know how good you think we're going to do here in season number 3. Peace out. Go Dogs.